Okay, so now you've created a file on your computer to put all your DBI classes in. You've gone through, you opened your email, you've downloaded them into there. So now how do I put them on a portable device? Well, there's literally hundreds of ways of doing this depending on the device you have. What I'm going to deal with today is iTunes, and particularly iPhones, since that seems to be the platform that most of our students seem to use. So, first I go back and I make sure that I have downloaded iTunes. Now, if you already have an iPhone, this is pretty likely that you have. But if I go to the Apple website, and as you can see, that's where I went with this, www.apple.com/iTunes. You'll notice right there at the top of their page, and this may change from time to time, but they'll have a button somewhere on this page that says download iTunes. So that was on apple.com/iTunes. Once I finish downloading that, I'll see a iTunes icon on my computer, and I'll be able to save all my files over to that. So I'm going to go ahead and open iTunes. I've gone ahead and put it up into my taskbar. You might just have it on your desktop. Once I open it up, I'm going to go into Songs, which is where I'm going to save all of these different speeches and lectures and so forth. Don't get confused. Sometimes people say no one was singing it, but it's still an audio file, and that's where you're going to find that. It's different than you would find other things that you could have, like books or apps, for instance. Alright, I also need to open up my file that I've saved all my DBI lectures on. Again, I'm going to go up to my taskbar, although, as we discussed earlier, you can also use your Start menu for this. And there you see your libraries again, right inside that file like I talked about. I'm going to minimize this down by just dragging that over there right there. You'll notice I'm on the side there, moving it over so I can see both at the same time. I personally find this easier. You don't have to do it this way. It's just a little smoother. If you remember, I saved mine in my music, so I'm going to double click on that to open it up, and then I'm going to go down to where my classes are, take that file, and double click on that. As you can see, I've got a number of classes in there now. The one we had been talking about was the DBI Making Disciples, which you'll notice real quickly is why it's handy to have these in individual files. As you develop your courses and you take numerous courses, having each class in a file makes it a lot easier. If I didn't have these in files, I'd literally have hundreds and hundreds of files to sort through to find what I wanted. This way they're all nicely together. So I go to my Making Disciples Evangelism, I double click on this file, and it opens up. You'll see quickly in there that all my files, all my audio lectures, are right there inside that file. Now, to move those over to the iTunes, all I have to do is drag these over. There's a couple ways I can do it. The fastest way is if I hit on my keyboard Control, then A, it'll select all of them, and that's the fastest way to do it. I could also, if I wanted to, click on the top one, push the Shift key, go all the way down to the bottom one, click on that one, and that also highlights it. Those are probably the two easiest ways. You can drag them over one by one, but it's very time consuming to do it that way, and this way you know you got it all in one shot. Now I just left click and hold on these files, and as you can see, it's telling me I've got 20 files of MP3 that I'm pulling over into iTunes. I just go over in the top of my iTunes, I drop that in there, and you're going to see that those files are progressing right there. There's 4 of 20, 5 of 20, and that'll take a minute or two depending on the processor speed of your computer, but you can also see that they're already all right here. Alright, I'm going to drag this down so you can see all the classes. There they are. And as this finishes up, I'm going to start my next step to put these into their own folder so I can find them very easy on my iPhone or my iPad. I'm going to do something very similar to what I did before. I'm going to click on the top one, I'm going to push that Shift key, and I'm going to go all the way down to number 20, clear down here, towards the bottom, push my shift key, hold it, and then left click at the same time, and it highlights all of those because I want to put them all into the same file. Then anywhere in this area that's blue, I can right click, and I've got a number of different choices that I have there of things that I can do. The one I'm looking for is right down here. New playlist from selection. Okay, so I've selected all of these and I want to put them into one playlist all on its own. That way I can go to the playlist sections on my phone or my iPad and just play just this class. As you might be able to see there, I can also just push Control, Shift, and N all at the same time, and it'll do the same thing. So I can, to review that, I can either right click it like this and scroll down to where that is, or I can just push Control, hold it, Shift, hold it, and N hold it all at the same time, and it'll create the file. And you can see off to the side here, it's created a file for me. There you see the professor's name, Desert Bible Institute, and so forth. You can call this whatever you want. Again, I keep this simple. I call it exactly what it is so that I can find it in case I ever want to search for it. I also try to call all my playlists the same thing. So in this case, I'm going to say DBI making disciples. And then I'm going to click off to the side so that names that. Now as I go through my other classes, Romans, Hebrews, Doctrine of God, whatever the case may be, I always start them with the DBI. The reason for that is your iTunes can get very full, and if they're all labeled DBI, they're very easy to find together. So I can go up into my search, if I'm ever looking for it, type in DBI, and I'll find all my different files, and it won't include all the songs and so forth that I have. Okay. Another thing that I want to look at is the order. Now this is good because this mixed up my order for me, which I didn't intend it to do, but this works great for you. I want to get these into the correct order. I don't want to listen to lecture 5 through 10 and then jump down into 1 through 4. So how do I fix that? Well, right up here you'll see a sort by. If I click on there, I can sort by name, time, artist, album, so forth. The easiest one, the one we're going to do, is the one that mine was currently set at, was sort by manual order. That lets me move them around and put them however I want. That way, when I play this playlist, it'll automatically start at the first song. So, I come down here towards the bottom. I'm going to extend out this box a little bit so I can see more of the lectures. And what I see is my 1 through 4 are in the wrong place to begin with. Same as before, I click on that first file I want to move, and I can do them one by one, or I can do all 4 of these at once. If I want to do them one by one, no problem. I left click on it, I can drag it up to wherever I want to put it. So I can drag that individual one right to the top. Again, that's kind of time consuming though, so if I want to move them all together, I can click once on this number 2, push and hold down my shift button, and then click all the way down here on the bottom one, number 4, and I can move this whole batch up to the top, and it's 2 through 4, so I'm going to fit it right between 1 and 5. Now you can see I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Let's make sure they're all there. I'm going to scroll down this bar on the side, and now I can see with that one change, these are all in order. Now that I'm happy with the order they're in, and I'm going to be able to listen to them the way I want to, I can come up here, and I can say, done. Now what's happened is I've created a playlist file on my computer. So I'll be able to listen to those playlists anytime that I want to. If I click onto playlist, I can come over here and I can find my DBI Making Disciples course. It is right inside here. And so I can upload this to my phone or my iPad to listen to later. We'll talk about how to do that in the next video.